steal my space, don't steal my space, don't steal my space. Hello everyone, welcome. Buenos dias, hola. We are in Majorca, Spain, driving the Mercedes A-Class. This is the A180 version. It's a diesel engine. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know what the spec of this car is. There's a badge on the back that says A180. It is basically a hire car from a reputable Spanish hire car company. I would like to say reputable, but this car was given to us with a little bit of damage on it, so we weren't best pleased about that. But anyway, let's have a little spin and we'll tell you a bit about it. So it's an A-Class. The A-Class was remodeled not so long ago to this version, so it's much slimmer. And when I say slimmer, I mean lower, a bit more squat than the previous original A-Class, which were traditionally quite raised high up vehicles. And actually the first thing to note is that unless you adjust the seats properly, which are infinitely comfortable, there isn't a lot of headroom in here. Okay, so we're on a little Spanish back road on the island of Majorca. Lovely and sunny day. So yeah, so what's good about this car? What's impressed me? Well, what hasn't impressed me is the diesel engine. I'm not the biggest fan of diesel engines at the best of times, but this one doesn't particularly sound very nice. It doesn't particularly feel like it has a huge amount of torque. I'm not entirely sure what the capacity of it is. It's probably a really lowly diesel engine, but like I said, I just wouldn't like to speculate on the capacity. Maybe we'll have a pop of the bonnet later and we can have a look. But the point is, it's not particularly torquey, it doesn't sound particularly great, and as a result it doesn't perform particularly great, which is a bit of a shame, because as a car for a family, which is what we are over here on holiday, lugging around luggage and 2 kids, it's really good, and it doesn't let itself down. The front seats are almost kind of, I'm not sure if they're entirely leather, they're leather trimmed by the look of it. Really comfortable, and they remind me, I don't know if you can see on my t-shirt, of the seats that you used to get or came within a Porsche 944, which I've owned previously. So if you go off and Google image search Porsche 944 seats, look at the modern A-Class seats, they're practically the same design. If the Porsche 944 had evolved further, I think the seats would have looked kind of like these. You can just look at the style of this headrest, you can see. So the other great things about this car, it's got, as you would expect, like most modern cars these days, a screen in the middle. It's kind of like a stuck-on iPad, which I think I've heard it described as that before by the 5th Gear guys. And it does really look like a big stuck-on iPad. And that's a bit of a shame for me, because in the older C-classes, they had the cool poppy out screen from the dashboard, just a very James Bond. It looked a lot better, but they seem to have gone away from that in favour of sticking a big iPad looking screen on top of the dashboard and hoping that people like it. What you do get is a nice colour LCD dial behind the dashboard showing your speed, little gizmo on the steering wheel so you can control that, flip through the settings, and it's really easy to use, and I really like that. So you can change kind of the convenience settings for the lights when you get home. There's speed distance control on this car. You'll see the big black piece of plastic embedded within the logo, the badge on the front of the bonnet, with all that speed control wizardry, brake distance control, not speed control, brake distance control stuff. So if you're going too close to the car in front, it pops up a little red light on the dash, which your wife then nags you about. And I'm sure if you got even closer, it would probably do some unnecessary, but possibly necessary braking for you. So that's kind of neat, and it keeps you all nice and safe, which is good. So what have we got? Comfy seats, nice little screen, LCD dash. You've got nice big glass sunroof as well, which is really neat. Not that when you're abroad in a country like this you would particularly use it, but nonetheless it's nice to have. You've got lovely kind of black on white dials, and at night when the lights come on they illuminate from behind and they just look really smart. That's a real nice touch. And in fact the look of this car and the style of this car is very fresh, it's very modern, it's very fitting with kind of the times. I really like the styling of this car. I'm a bit of a secret Mercedes fan. If BMWs weren't kind of so good at what they did, I'd stick to Mercedes. I really do like them. They feel like a good quality product, considering this is probably just a reasonably poverty spec family type car. It just feels very, very nice in here. All the switch gear's nice. You've obviously got the 4 electric windows, electric mirrors, all the sort of stuff that you want and kind of expect in a modern car in this day and age, really. The steering wheel is pretty snazzy as well. It looks like it's got some really cool stitching on it, and it just feels incredibly neat and sporty. It's kind of a 3-spoke wheel. It's nice steering wheel. The car comes with alloy wheels by the look of it. It's got this silver paintwork and it blends into the Spanish hire car holiday environment almost seamlessly. It even has, courtesy of whoever hired it recently, and this car's got 3,000 miles on it. That is all. That's 4,700 kilometers if you're in Europe. 3,000 miles this car's got on it, and it's got a massive big ding in the side where someone's kind of swiped it or reversed it out of a parking space badly. The hire car company, when we collected it, did not seem bothered in the slightest about that and let us happily drive it away. Now at the time it was late at night, you don't really want to bother, you kind of just get on with it and drive it. But I have to say, driving this car, I'm going to go into too much detail, but at about 120 kilometers per hour, which is about 70-80 miles an hour on the motorway, which you're allowed to do over here, you really can start to notice a bit of a noise from where that blooming dent was made, which can't be good. I mean, it's obviously done some damage underneath, so structurally and kind of from a side impact protection point of view, can't be that great, really, can it? You've got a nice gearbox on this car. It's a 6-speed manual gearbox mated to this, whatever the hell it is, tractor diesel engine. Just glugging this thing along. For the first few days we drove it, it was at a full tank and the needle didn't move. That really doesn't particularly appeal to me too much, but these diesels just seem to be super frugal. And after 10 days spinning around the lovely island of Majorca and going a bit of fuzz and chilling out, we haven't even used half a tank. It's still pretty much nearly on 2/3 of a tank. So I'm guessing this thing is just super economical, and if I was to have as a guess, and I could probably tell by looking somewhere, I think it says on the display in the middle, this thing's probably getting at least 40 to 50 miles to the gallon easily, I would have thought. So there we go. It's a Mercedes A-Class, really, pretty standard 4-door hatchback type saloon. Not at all a bad vehicle, not something that particularly excites me, but from a holiday hire car perspective, it's nice to have a premium mark, I guess, better than maybe a lot of the typical Ford and Peugeots that you're probably seeing around and about on the road. So it's not a bad vehicle to have. We are back and we are parking here. And voila! Hope you enjoyed the video. Click to subscribe. See you again next time on Pedal Loud.